What's going on, guys? It's your average consumer, and today we're going to be taking a look at the new Beats Studio Wireless 3 and seeing if it's dope or nope. Now, there's been multiple iterations of the Beats Studios, but there's only been about two different designs. The very first one that came out years and years ago, and from the 2.0 and up, the Beats Studio and the Beats Studio Wireless pretty much shared the exact same design. And I'm not mad at this because I actually really like the look of the current studios. I think it looks good. It's got a nice form factor. It is an over-ear design, so it completely covers your ears. It is also foldable, so if you want to tuck this away into a backpack or something, you have that option. Apparently, Apple changed up the stitching of the studio's ear cushions. It's supposed to be a bit softer, but honestly, it's always been really comfortable, so I can't say I noticed much of a change there. What did change though is that they came out with a bunch of new colors. You've got your matte black, white, blue, red, as well as some special edition colors called porcelain rose and shadow gray. And let me tell you guys, when I saw that shadow gray, I thought that was gonna be the one, but I got my hands on the red one and it actually surprised me. I expected it to be this bright, vibrant red, but it's actually like a dark cherry red, which actually comes off really nicely. And as you can see based on these colors, it looks like Beats is going for a more sophisticated look rather than those bright red B logos that we all know Beats is famous for. And since this is the newest version, I know you're wondering what's different, what's been added. And the biggest change that you're gonna be seeing here is the inclusion of Apple's W1 chip. And there are a lot of bonuses that come with that chip. The first and probably my favorite is proximity pairing that allows you to pair the headphones to a device that's running iOS 10 or later by simply turning it on and having it next to the device. This makes for a super simple pairing process, and honestly, you get it done with just the press of a button, which is awesome. And once you've got it paired to your device, you can actually use it with all of the other Apple devices that you have. As long as you're connected with your iCloud account, you can jump from having an iPhone connected to it, to your MacBook Pro, to your iPad. You can jump between all those different devices without even having to separately pair them all. And another bonus with that W1 chip is that you get increased battery life. Now, you get 22 hours with the pure adaptive noise canceling, which we're gonna touch on in a second. And without it, you get 40 hours, which is really good on a pair of Bluetooth headphones. And it features fast charging, so if this thing dies on you, you charge it for 10 minutes and you're getting 3 hours of playback. And it's also supposed to help with Bluetooth connectivity, so you're getting less dropouts and extended range. And I've been using this thing without even touching my phone all over my studio, so I can vouch for it. It's really good. And for those of you who aren't familiar with the current design of the studios, there's not a lot of buttons here, even though these are a pair of Bluetooth headphones. There's actually just a power button, which also works for the noise cancellation. And on the left ear cup, you also have your play and pause button, which is the actual B logo. And above that, you have your volume up, and below it, the volume down. So if you want to control your music, double tap to skip, triple tap to go back, and press once to play and pause, or even answer calls. And how could I forget? A long press if you want to access Siri right from your headphones. Now, when you pick this guy up, you will get a few accessories in the box. You get a hard shell travel case, which is gonna be good to protect your headphones. You get a carabiner clip if you wanna attach it to a backpack or something like that. You also get a 3.5mm audio cable with an inline remote, so if you wanna control your music, you can do that right from the cable. But my biggest issue here is the fact that you cannot use the headphones powered completely off with the audio cable. And that's honestly one of my biggest pet peeves when it comes to Bluetooth headphones. I feel like they should all work without power. In case you just want to use them as regular headphones, maybe you don't have access to an outlet and your headphones are dead, you should have the option to be able to still use them even without juice. Thankfully, there is fast charging and you do get a solid 3 hours from just 10 minutes of charging. Even if you're not near an outlet, you probably have a portable charger if you tend to listen to my advice. But I honestly would have preferred to just have the ability to listen without any power whatsoever. And speaking of charging, this thing comes with a micro USB cable, which I don't really understand. The Beats X that came out before this charges with a lightning cable, which makes complete sense. But micro USB cable, I just don't understand that. I would have understood if this came out last year and they're still trying to cater to all of the Android devices out there that used micro USB, but everybody's on USB Type-C or the lightning cable, so I feel like it should charge with one of those two. So I definitely don't like the micro USB. And the W1 chip also allows for a new form of noise canceling that Apple is calling pure adaptive noise canceling. And for those of you who aren't familiar with how noise canceling headphones work, typically the headphones are outfitted with microphones that are able to listen into the environment and create a frequency that cancels out that noise. But the Studio Wireless 3 actually takes that and kicks it up a notch by doing a continuous scan of the environment, and it does that up to about 50,000 times per second. That's insane. But not only is it continuously calibrating based on your environment, but it's also taking into consideration the fit on your actual head. So things like hair, glasses, it's actually taking all of that into consideration, as well as what you're listening to. So the mix of those three are supposed to give you the best combination of sound quality and noise cancellation. And I of course had to test this with some of the kings in the game, like the Bose QC35s, as well as the Sony MDR1000X, which is the current champion. And when I tested this out while listening to music, I was very impressed with the Studios because it actually kept up with both the QC35s and even the MDR1000X. And with those two being the cream of the crop when it comes to noise cancelling headphones, that's really impressive. But when it came to noise cancelling without any music, the QC35s and the 1000X still held their ground as the top two. The Studios didn't do too bad, but they're not dethroning those two in that regard. I'm not really sure how many people use the noise cancelling without any music on, but I do know some people tend to use it for commutes, so I just wanted to share that. Now, of course, the biggest, most important thing about these headphones is the sound quality. Now, I'm not gonna sit here and make a blanket statement like these sound like a pair of Beats, because honestly, the Beats sound has changed quite a bit over the years. In the beginning, there used to be this huge focus on bass, but they've actually dialed that down quite a bit with the most recent products, and the same goes for the Studio Wireless 3s. Now, since these are the Studios, I was listening closely to see how big of a role the bass would play, but I was actually surprised to see things like the vocals really standing out, instrument separation was really apparent, and the bass was there present, but it wasn't crazy, it wasn't muddy, it sounded really clean, very clear, and I actually really enjoyed the sound. And something that's pretty interesting about the Studios is that whether you have the pure adaptive noise cancelling on or off, you get the exact same sound quality. And as I was testing it against other noise cancelling headphones like the QC35s and the 1000X, I found that the sound quality sounded way better than the QC35s. Everything sounded a lot more present, a lot more vibrant. The QC35s just sounded really low in comparison, and it was comparable to the 1000X, which is a huge compliment to the Studios. I'm curious to see if the Studio sound is going to be comparable to the newest version of the 1000X, but as of right now, these sound really good. So the question is, are these dope or nope? And honestly guys, I'm gonna go with dope. These are great sounding headphones that also look good, and they feature Apple's W1 chip that give it crazy long battery life. It has really impressive noise cancelling, and it also works with a ton of Apple devices without having to go and pair to each one. I actually just really love the convenience that it offers, especially since I make use of Apple's ecosystem. Now, where I will knock this is that micro USB cable. I wish it didn't come with that, and also the fact that you can't use this without any juice, but its saving grace is the fact that it has that fast charging and that extremely long battery life. But overall, it's a very solid pair of headphones. I think that anybody who picks it up will definitely enjoy it. But that about wraps it up for this video, guys. Hopefully you enjoyed it. And if you did, be the cool guy or girl that gives this video a thumbs up. And I'll catch you guys in the next one. Till then, it's your average consumer. Peace.